Hello, my name is Hersh, and welcome to the HERshyt Show. Well, a little bit about it. You're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry, you'll probably cuss at me, but that's all right. I just want to bring to you the realization of what's really going on in this world that a lot of people are afraid to speak on. Enjoy. Welcome back to the HERshyt Show. So for this week, I want to discuss something that is a little near and dear to my heart. And it's not talking shit about nobody and nothing like that. This week, I want to talk about emergency management and emergency preparedness. Why? Because it is hurricane season, or not even just hurricane season. Things are happening that are crazy at the moment. Recently, a whole condo just collapsed in Miami, and there's people missing. There's loved ones. It's sad. It's really sad. In Detroit, it just started flooding, and a regular rainy day turned into a whole bunch of sewer backup and a whole bunch of craziness. And I'm quite sure in locations that you may live, you see if it rains for 5 minutes, certain areas flood ridiculously. I don't know if I don't know what it's for. I don't know where it's coming from. But what I can tell you is you need to be ready. You need to be ready for yourself and for your family. Things happen out of our control. What I advise, go through your house, take pictures of high dollar value items, take pictures of the serial code, the information, put the price down, estimated price down, make you a little booklet to where you have something prepared to give your insurance company if something does happen. Also do a backup to the cloud, to your email, some kind of way that you can get to it in case you can't just grab the book and go, or have the book stuffed hidden in your trunk of your car or something. I don't know what would work for you, but I can tell you that when something happens, your mind is not going to be there. You're not going to be able to think of every single thing that you may have had in your house. You're not. Your adrenaline is rushing. You're upset. You may have lost loved ones. You have no idea. Some items are irreplaceable. You can't get pictures back. You can't unless you've uploaded everything and had it available electronically to pull from the cloud. There's just a lot of things that you may have in your home that are high dollar value items that you would want to claim to your insurance company. Jewelry. Take pictures of your jewelry. Go get them appraised. Have them authenticated. Like I said, your TVs, your computers, your laptops, just a list. Put it together. Consolidate a list of your household items. Businesses as well. Businesses, you definitely need to do it. So where am I going with all of this? I don't know where the lack of communication or understanding went or started, but when a disaster happens, like a hurricane or the wildfires or earthquakes, etc., 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 and it's considered a state of an emergency. State of emergency. People automatically assume, because it was a state of emergency at the state level, they start calling FEMA. They expect FEMA to jump in. They expect the federal government to come and save the day. It's not how that works. It's not how that works at all. So the levels are your local and state emergency management organizations have certain resources, or are supposed to have certain resources to be able to take care of their communities, because they are solely responsible to take care of their communities, the sandbags, the cots, they're co-partnering with Red Cross or the Salvation Army, or you can dial 211 if an emergency occurs, or 211, go on 211.org, and they might have local information of organizations that may be able to assist you. But it starts at the local level. People automatically assume the federal government is going to step in, and that's not how that works. So if you go on, if you want some better clarification, if you go on FEMA.gov or disasterassistance.gov, you can put in your location. You can search your location to see what federal declarations are out there in your area. Like when the snowstorm happened with Texas and Louisiana. When the snowstorm occurred, unfortunately, people were without power, pipes were bursting, a whole bunch of stuff was going on, sadly. And Texas put in their request for the federal government to step in and do a presidential declaration. So that way the funding is like 75, 25%, something like that. Or sometimes it might be the state paying it, or the federal government fronting the bill. But however they decide to divvy up the payments or whatnot, or the money, I can't say the payments, the money for different pots of housing assistance or other needs assistance or funerals, medical bills. There's so many different levels, and not everybody knows. And the local and state governments don't always put it out there. The media don't always put out the proper information. So I'm here to tell you, if there is a state of emergency in your area, before you pick up that phone to call FEMA, verify that it is a presidential declaration. Without it being a presidential declaration, the federal government is not stepping in. They can be on standby. I'm not saying that the local and state, the state governor hasn't put in a request or is in the process of putting in a request, but the federal government cannot just step in and take over where they haven't been approved at. If that makes sense. Get in contact, if something happens, get in contact with your local and state emergency management personnel, whether it be Georgia, Florida, Texas, wherever you are. Just like when I was saying about Detroit. The state emergency management put out the information, and then everybody started flooding FEMA 2 days later or the next day. It's not how it works. So I wholeheartedly advise you to have a list of items, high dollar value items in your home. Take pictures, get estimated prices, take your jewelry to go get it appraised. Just have it readily available. Also have your go kits available with your flashlights, you already know. If you don't know, go on FEMA.gov. Go on your state emergency management websites, and there's advisable lists out there, packing lists or prepared lists. Just be ready as possible, because things happen. But stop assuming or pointing fingers when your safety or your resources start at the local level, then the state level, then the federal level. And I'm going to tell you now, from experience, the federal level is not to replace your insurance, your homeowner's insurance, or renter's insurance, or car insurance, or prepaid funeral insurance. That's not how that works. It's a offset or addition to. So say, for instance, if it's a presidential declaration and your homeowner's insurance only covered a certain amount, but they got to not always call and do a claim with your insurance first and foremost, because that is required to request assistance from the federal side, from the FEMA side. You will need that letter for a settlement or a denial. I'm just letting you know from experience. Once you put in the claim, that's one of the questions that's asked. If your homeowner's insurance or your insurance didn't pay for every single thing, you might get another portion, but there's a cap. Every year there's a cap also on how much the federal government will give you if FEMA steps in. Do your research. Please, please, please be as readily as possible. Just get your stuff together. Don't live in a panic attack. Don't be anxious all the time. But just be prepared, because things happen, unfortunately. Again, local, state, federal. You're more than welcome, and I advise you to go on FEMA.gov and type in your area or research your area to see if there's a presidential declaration prior to jumping on the phone or pointing fingers. Good luck to everybody. Till next time, the HERshyt Show.
Log on to youtube.com and subscribe to the HERshyt Show at TheHERshytShow. Brought to you by 8 Robinsons TV and Yellow Tub Creative.